Hi, everybody. It's Molly and Joe. And today we're talking about something I'm sure is going to be quite exciting. Tell us, Molly.
The question is, when was the first time you fell in love? How old were you?
Wow.
This is just one of those great topics of conversation that you could ask somebody on a date. You could ask your partner if you've never asked them.
Yeah. And how do you define falling in love?
I guess you'd have to define it. When you felt that way.
Well, I think I was sort of a copycat lover. Because I can remember in elementary school when my friend sort of fell in love with this girl, and then I fell in love with her too. And I'm sure it was just because he was leading by example and I didn't want to be left behind. So I can remember having this crush on this girl. That was the first time I really felt like, oh, I might be in love, even though it was sort of initiated by somebody else.
That's very interesting that you learned about falling in love from someone else.
Yeah.
And we've never talked about this before. I don't remember ever hearing this story.
No, I don't think so.
My first time was with my grandma and grandpa, their neighbor, the young boy that lived next door. He was about my age, and so I saw him a couple times a year, and he was so cute, and I really loved him, and I loved going to visit my grandparents. Over the years, he was the first boy I held hands with. He was the first boy I French kissed. He told me about it. He said, my cousin, who was older, told me about kissing with your tongues, and here's what we do. I was totally game for that.
Wow.
I think I was 10 and he was 9.
He must have been thrilled.
I remember my grandmother wringing her hands. She was so nervous about me going over to his house and playing.
Sounds like as well she should have.
She probably did have a sense, but it was very innocent. I just remember sitting out on the front porch with him and just talking in the evening, and she would walk back and forth on the sidewalk, just so nervous about letting her granddaughter play with the neighbor boy.
Chaperone from across the street. So when did you first fall in love? Thanks for joining us.